Welcome back, YouTube. I appreciate you joining me again for this market recap and also a trade recap from today. I only took a few trades, so this one's going to be quick and easy. I'm going to show you a setup that ran on NIO this morning, and I actually took an L. Instead of going long, I went short and ended up stopping out. As always, if you enjoy this content, please feel free to give me a subscribe and a thumbs up. That way I can also see how you guys enjoy the videos. Alright, let's jump over to the charts. Alright guys, we are here on the 1 minute chart on NIO. We looked at the open this morning. I did not take any pre-market trades because I had other obligations, but I was able to take about 30 minutes this morning and watch the bell, and this is where we were at. Volume was decent this morning on NIO, so I did look at it, but unfortunately I was looking at another stock this morning at the open. So as you can tell, you can see my trades over here. They took place right around the 9:45 mark. Let me grab my pen here and we're going to mark those trades. You can see they all took place in this general area right here. So the big thing that happened this morning, if we would have been watching NIO by itself and looked at nothing other than NIO, what you see is very obvious and it sticks out like a sore thumb. We see the ABCD setup and it formed perfectly. This would have been a beautiful execution and that would have been what I would have traded. But obviously it doesn't always work out that way. Here we have the ABC beginning, which is going to be at the very beginning. It sold off and you can see there was some indecision, which normally happens. But once we broke the VWAP, you can see all of the EMAs kind of converged right around this area at 934. And then we had the huge pop here, which would have been our A to B movement. This green line, as you can see over here to the side, is the R2 on the Camarillo pivot line. It clearly ripped right through there, so that would have also given us an entry point if we would have missed this first. So this would have moved up and became our B setup. Now after that, it looked like it did not hit R3, which would have been this point right here, and would have sat right around 39.78. And it did pull back. Now this, again, this was our move to C. This is where I did begin in watching this stock, and I hesitated. I'm not going to lie, I hesitated on this, and this would have been probably the second best entry that you could have made on this stock this morning. And this one would have been the most profitable. When it pulled back down and hit the C, which was right around the R2 line here, it dipped down and tapped VWAP almost to the penny right here on this wick. And once it tapped that VWAP, it was right around 35.3, or I'm sorry, 39.3. It went back up. Once it broke these, it came up to this level. This would have been our D level, and another good entry would have been right around in here. Now, after seeing all this, I got FOMO. And I saw it get to this level and I saw it pull back down. This was my first entry right here, and I'm going to zoom in that way you can see it. So now that we've seen the chart in full, let's go ahead and scroll and get rid of this mark. Now you may be saying, why in the world did you take a short here? Well, again, you have to remember that what we're looking at is well before any of these other candles take place. So I am looking at this from this perspective here. I saw a red candle, red volume candle starting to build up here. And we were also at the R3, which normally signifies an either rip out or a fall. I thought that we had already hit this top here and that it was going to go ahead and start giving back. So I went ahead and took a small short, and once that did not go through, as you can see, it ripped back over this high, and this is where I actually stopped out. Because I was not going to give this thing all of my money. I knew it was not the great entry that I wanted, and honestly I had a very short stop. So right here was my entry, which was around 39.77, and then I got out just above, probably around 10 cents to 11 cent stop. very short, or I'm sorry, a very small size, so it wasn't that big of a loss, wasn't that concerned. My second entry was for a loss, and I thought that it was going to go back down. I had the same thing in my mind. Very low volume, comparatively. As you can see in this candle here, it did turn out to be green. Now, when I took my entry, as you can see, this wick dipped down below R3, and I thought that was going to be it. I thought the bears were going to push this stock back down. We were going to lose this double top here, and we were going to move on down below R3 and then go back down to test VWAP again. That's what was in my mind. Unfortunately, as you can see from the next candle, the volume poured into this thing like somebody took a bucket and just dumped people's buying orders into this stock. And when that happened, we had a huge rip up like that. And looking back, going back and analyzing my trade, as you can see, here's another thing that would have been a telltale sign, and I didn't pick up on it at the time. This 9 EMA was moving up this way the whole time. And look what happened. It respected it here. It came down, barely broke through the 9 EMA here, and then went higher. It came down and touched it here. And then look what happened here. So again, when you're in the moment, a lot of these patterns are hard to see unless you're trained and unless you have a proper playbook. Personally, I probably should have taken this long. Honestly, well, obviously I should have taken it long from hindsight. But even looking at the tails, looking at EMA, look how it was respected, I can look back now and say, okay, this is why I should have went long. And where my stops would have been, if it would have closed underneath the 9 EMA, then I would have felt comfortable taking a loss to the short side. So at the end of the day, I did lose money this morning. I felt bad, but not because of the loss of money. I felt bad because we can obviously see this setup forming. I've seen this pattern many times, as a lot of people have. You would know this is a ABCD pattern forming perfectly here. I mean, so we see it here form exactly the way we want it. Take your profits here and then allow the stock to move on up with a break even, and then just adjust your break even, or I'm sorry, your sell order. So again, that is what I learned this morning. That was what happened. Again, I only took those 2 trades. They were both losing trades, but I know how to cut my stops very short. That way it doesn't clean my account out, and I can live to trade another day. Thanks you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope this helps a little bit to see what I'm looking at when I'm taking a trade. And I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow will be a green day and a wonderful way to end the week and to go into the long weekend. Take care.